Good afternoon, everybody. I love it when we have two shows in one day, and this is long overdue. Talking about Kyron Horman, been talking about Kyron Horman in the Facebook group, Crime Lines and Lies, and I think the case needs to be talked about more, way more. It seems like when it is, and I don't mean in the Facebook groups specifically for Kyron that have done nothing but just focus right on Kyron. There's one in particular that's really good, not the one that will only support Terry and listen to nothing else. I cannot figure that out. Blows my mind. Anyway, it seems like some channels, when they revisit Kyron's case, they talk about it like it's a cold case that they dug out of the archives. Well, it's an active case. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes as far as how ongoing it is, but I think it needs to be brought out more and talked about much more. Let's see who's in here. Eve, hello. Eve said, I would love to know what happened to him. Hopefully one day they will find him. I hope so too. Serena, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. There's our friend Kat. By the way, if you have time to go look over at the channel or at the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group, Kat has been busy creating art. You can see my new avatar. Yes. Mayor, hello. Kane, hello. Pegasus, hello. Aggie, hello. See, Gaelic girl, hello. Good afternoon. Rexana. Linda, how's it going? Jam 420, hello. I got a jar of dirt. Love that name. I got a jar of dirt. Said, hi, I'm lurking but listening. All right. Plead the fifth. Hey to you. Anna, hello. There's our friend Shannon. Real Talk with Amanda and Chris, hello. Lisa, hello. Carla, hello. What's up, Bob? Bob says, love your new avatar, Brooks. Well, I would take credit for it. That is Kat's artwork. Everybody knows when I make something because it looks like something that Tim Mullen made. Very elementary, if you know what I mean. Preschool Granny, what's up? Beck B, hope everyone's doing good. You hear an echo right now? Am I echoing, guys? Can anyone hear an echo? Yes, Jam, she is a StepMonster. She's never been charged, never been arrested, but there definitely has been some grand jury inquiries. There is an echo. Okay, let me figure out what to do here. Give me a second. Beck says no. Jam says no. Katie says no. Can you adjust it on your end? Let's see how it goes. I got a jar of dirt, says interesting to learn more. Well, you know how I do around here. We're going to do a lot of replay today. We're going to brush the dust off this case and revisit the beginning of the case because this case has gone on for 12 years. Yes, 12 years. Kyron disappeared June 4th of 2010. And there are so many chapters to this case. Unless you plan to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with me, you can't go through everything. You can't. There's way too much. So we're going to break this up into sections and do the best we can. We are. So the last show that I did for Kyron, I invited a woman up. Her name is Lexi. She runs another Facebook group. And I just kind of thought they were going back and forth, just toying with what if Terry Horman didn't do anything. So I invited her on the show because I like to hear other people's theories, opinions, what makes them tick? What makes you think she didn't do anything? Because all arrows, as of right now, point to Terry. They really do. Well, I felt bad as the show went on because she kept saying she has facts. And I was trying to be as civil as possible because she just wasn't going to see any reasoning at all. And then I noticed in this group that if you post a link to an article that makes Terry look bad, and well, that's like shooting fish in a barrel, I mean, there's a ton of them. Then it was the media lies, law enforcement's lying. But if you find something that could possibly cast her in a nice light, they're like, oh yeah, see, there's the facts. There's the facts. I'm not doing that. And I mean, at the end of the day, we can agree to disagree. We're still friends. We had kind of a bumpy ride yesterday talking about Michael Vaughn. We had some people that really aren't used to the way we do things around here. And it was my way or the highway. You have to see it my way or I'm leaving. Well, storm off. Because it's never that way in any case. You have your opinion. I have mine. We discuss it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. And sometimes you are. It's a discussion. So hang on one second. I just missed a comment. Juicy Tequila Bobo came in. Thank you, Alicia. She said you did great. Kimberly says, I think this case has been dropped by LE. Well, I hope not, because I know Desiree, I'll put it on the screen, she's asking for a new task force to investigate. So she wants a task force. I think it's a brilliant idea because they had one before to do nothing but focus on Kyron's disappearance. I hope they haven't stopped investigating it. Last I heard, no, it's still a very active investigation. Thank you, Beck B. She said, yeah, because she's done other sketchy shit like hire someone to kill hubby and steal a gun. Yeah. Terry Horman, you guys are going to get mad at me for saying this. Now she goes by the name Terry Moulton. Makes Candace Wells look like the picture of mental health. There isn't anything that this woman wouldn't do. The only one I can think of that could top her in recent memory would be Letitia Staunch. I don't know if it's going to be next week or the week after. I'm going to do a case comparison between the disappearance of Kyron Horman and the murder of Gannon Staunch. When I heard about Gannon, and as things were unfolding, I said, oh, wow, this is just like Kyron Horman. This is just like that case. Wow, this is crazy. So like I said, we're going to go to the beginning, dust it off, and get our bearings back about this case, and then start getting into, in other shows, other episodes, what have you, more into the other insanity that has gone on. Steve Beasley, where you been? Oh, Jakey5 said, good morning, good evening. All right, so I'm going to bring up Susan real quick. She's been following this case forever and a day. Got a couple other people backstage, and we're just going to refresh your memory about the beginning. Anything that you guys remember, need me to back up, just let me know, because I dug stuff out that is like so freaking old. And also remember, this was in 2010 when the mainstream media really covered true crime. They hit it hard. I mean, these are like the Casey Anthony days when every night on the news, Kyron Horman's case was on there. Every night. Social media obviously existed in 2010, but hadn't taken the shape in the true crime community that it has now. I really wish the mainstream media would cover more true crime. I really, really do. So let's see what our friend Susan's doing. Hello, Susan. How is your day going?
It's going pretty well. How about yours?
Pretty good. Rocking and rolling, my friend. Yeah, so when I did the show about Kyron, I'm going to go over some comments in a second. You were getting a little flustered and frustrated in chat. You were like, this lady's not listening to you.
Yeah. It was aggravating. Ugh. I mean, it's okay to have a theory, but everybody has a theory. You can't get sidetracked on one theory and then try to bend the evidence to go in that way.
No, and I mean, I knew that we had hit a dead end when I kept hearing, yeah, but the media lies. Yeah, but
Yeah.
law enforcement lies. And I'm like, okay, but are they lying about Terry? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Everybody can't be lying.
No. That was getting a little frustrating, kind of entertaining when we look back on it, but whew, never doing that again. Forget it. But I mean, all in all, we like to hear other people's opinions, thoughts, and theories. But when they just won't listen to reason at all, it's like, all right.
Yeah. Everybody's got opinions.
But what we have to decipher is your opinion and the way you're feeling about a case is not the facts. So when you say, I've got the facts,
then show them.
Then please bring me your facts. But if the fact is your gut feeling, okay, the fact is that's how you feel, but that's not how the case unfolded and has unfolded. Lindsay says, our local news covers it every single year. I live in the Portland metro area, about 15 minutes from the school. I would love to talk to you, Lindsay. Don't be shy about grabbing the link. I have it pinned.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I love when locals come into the show. Love it. Love it. Don't forget to hit the sub button, Lindsay, and everybody else. We have some new names. Hit that sub button. YouTube is jacking everything up. I have to remind people all the time. Hit that sub button. Please like the video because the algorithm is all screwed up right now. You know, get reminded. And hey, if you got some time on your hands, share the damn thing. All right. So let's do some comments from the last show. Woohoo! B Nana 1 month ago said, beware California residents. Terry Horman has remarried, now going by Terry Vasquez. I forgot it is Vasquez. Already learning something. I said Moulton. Living in Clear Lake, California, and working in Ukiah, driving a green Dodge Challenger with a black stripe. If you see her, ask her where Kyron is.
Oh my goodness.
TikTok Terry and Dede.
Ah.
For those of you new to the case, Dede is a very close friend of Terry's, even though later it was said, well, she's not that good of a friend. Hell, she's not. She's in on it, Terry.
Yep.
Wow.
There's another one who needs to pick better friends.
Oh, yeah. Randy McGee a month ago said the stepmother murdered him. No one else took him. She acted alone. Desiree Young, Tony, Kane all saw the gash on her lower leg. That is something that Terry will not address. We will get to that in another show. It was there and she lied, stating it happened at the gym. But witnesses at the gym and video from the gym proved she's a liar. Scratch a lie, find a thief, Terry. All evidence points to the stepmother. My wife and our friend and her detective husband got me interested in this case, and I've read the book, watched the interviews, and no one else took Kyron. Everyone was cleared but her. She needs arrested for murder. I couldn't agree more. Everybody's cleared except for you and your buddy Dede, who, when asked on the stand about the June 4th, 2010, pled the fifth to like over 100 questions. Dede, why would you not answer?
Exactly. I guess that's a lie too.
They're all lying to us. Lisa Durr said he never made it to class that morning and no one saw Terry leave the building. This woman doesn't know what she's talking about. Terry is the only suspect. She's not talking about me. She's talking about the woman that came on panel to tell her side of why she thinks Terry is innocent, and it backfired badly.
Oh, yeah.
But no, he never made it to class. So the story that he was sitting in his desk, no, that didn't happen. Then there's another rumor that he was at the science fair and the teacher told him to go help basically a stranger do something at his truck. The rumors get wilder and wilder. So that's the reason we try to straighten everything up, tidy it up, put it in line and say, this is what we know. This is what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I'll take things that never happened for 500.
Right. Sarah said, I'm sorry, but I don't trust that the stepmom isn't involved somehow. See, right there, we're using loose terms. We're just saying somehow. Okay, we're not going to come right out and accuse her. Looks like all the arrows point her way, though. Sarah says, and after today, hearing someone who claims to be defending the stepmom flat out say that she regularly uses burner phones, what the hell? That was a jaw-dropping moment on the show. We were all like, oh, God.
If you got a regular phone, why would you use a burner phone? Why?
Yeah. It's kind of comical now in a way, but who knows? Who knows? So, like I said, this has been going on since June 4th, 2010. Kyron was going to school at the time at Skyline Elementary. All right, so on the 4th, he was taken to school by Terry Horman, now Vasquez. They hung around the science fair. From there, she said the last thing she saw was the back of his head walking to class. She tried to put a timeline together. Her timeline doesn't really hold water. She said she went to 2 Fred Meyer stores looking for Tylenol. And the first Fred Meyer store, she couldn't get Tylenol because of the recall. But the second one had it. She said she drove around aimlessly because her and Kane, who she was married to at the time, that is Kyron's biological father, that their daughter, younger than Kyron, had an earache and she was trying to soothe her. But then she goes to the gym.
Yeah, that's another red flag right there.
Uh-huh.
Quieten your baby down, and then you're going to go to the gym and leave them in the little playroom with the other kids. Nah, I'm not buying it.
Not when they're screaming with an earache.
Exactly. She soothed her in a car. And I'll agree, putting a child in the car and driving soothes them. But you're going to stop, and you're going to jostle it and wake that baby up. And if it's hurting, it's going to cry.
Of course. And we all have drove around trying to soothe our children from colic and stuff like that. But an earache? Also, she said she was picking up an antibiotic. Why would she wait to get the antibiotic?
It makes no sense.
No. So she said she left the school around 8:45 a.m. The last thing she remembers, this is Terry, is seeing Kyron walk down the hall to his first class. Okay, so this is the picture that is ingrained in everyone's mind. This is the picture. It is not photoshopped. It is not from the day before. This is from the science fair. There's Kyron, happy as can be, by his tree frog project.
Question. Where's his left arm? Where's his left arm?
Behind his back.
Okay. It just looked like it was gone.
Susan. Don't be freaking out.
It was freaking me out. That's why I asked if it was photoshopped.
No. God, I hope not. That'd be quite a wrench thrown in this. No, that's been talked about for a long time. And they're like, no, this is the last picture of him. Okay. Someone asked how old Kyron was at the time. He was born in 2002, September 9th, 2002.
So wait.
Yeah, he disappeared June 4th, 2010. So Terry leaves the school around 8:45. She said she was running errands. She had to go to 2 different Fred Meyer stores. Those are grocery stores, until about a little after 10 o'clock. So between then and 11:39, now she was specific about that for some reason. She stated she was driving her daughter around town trying to soothe this earache, right?
Yeah.
Then she goes to the local gym. She exercises till about 12:30, 12:40, 12:45. Okay, around 1:20 is when she gets back home and she posts the infamous photo to Facebook. Her husband at the time, Kane, who is Kyron's biological father, he comes home. They get their daughter, Kiara. They go to meet the bus. No Kyron. And here we are in 2022. No Kyron. No Kyron.
Sadly.
No Kyron. So she calls the school. This is Terry. She calls the school, and they are pretty freaked out. Okay, it's the last day of school. It's a crazy busy day, and I guess they assumed that Kyron left with her, but they did not. They just marked him absent. There was some sort of miscommunication about a doctor's appointment. So we don't know if she told the teacher he had a doctor's appointment. Something about a doctor's appointment caused a lot of confusion. And a lot of kids don't go the last day of school. So there was no sounding the alarm when Kyron wasn't at school. I'm not defending the school. They did not call Kane. They didn't alert Terry, not that it would have mattered, to say that Kyron's not there. They've changed that policy. But what's really interesting is the interview that was done with Kyron's schoolmate, Tanner. I'm going to put that up real quick. Of course, he's grown now. I mean, Kyron would be 19 years old right now. Let's do the math. I'm terrible at math in my head.
Yeah, I think so. 19 or 20. I might be wrong.
He would be turning 20 September 9th. So he's got a birthday coming up.
Boy.
Shannon said, can you play that interview? Yep, I'm putting it up right now. If you guys hear an echo, let me know. So this is his classmate in 2010. He's a grown man now, too.
PTA president says she saw Kyron at the exhibit with his stepmother at 8:15 a.m. Stepmother told police she dropped him off at the science fair and last saw him walking down the hall at 8:45. The photo and eyewitnesses prove that he was there. His little classmate Tanner Pumala says he saw Kyron at the science fair too.
And he walked by the hallway. I'm like, hi, Kyron. He's like, hi, I'm going to go see this cool one, the electric one. And I'm like, all right, bye. And that's the last time I saw him. He never did make it back to class.
By 10 a.m. when
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting it. The classmate Tanner has no reason to lie. This is fresh in his memory. The FBI interviewed this little boy. We got another local in here. Hi, Katie. She said, thank you for sharing Kyron's story. I'm from Portland where Kyron went missing. Don't be shy. Grab the link. We love when locals come up to tell us what's really going on around there. Okay, I'm going to listen to this again. You know how I do.
Okay, but there was an echo.
Oh, shit. Thanks.
PTA president says she saw Kyron at the exhibit with his stepmother at 8:15 a.m. His stepmother told police she dropped him off at the science fair and last saw him walking down the hall at 8:45. The photo and eyewitnesses prove that he was there. His little classmate Tanner Pumala says he saw Kyron at the science fair too.
And he walked by the hallway. I'm like, hi, Kyron. He's like, hi, I'm going to go see this cool one, the electric one. And I'm I'm like, all right, bye. And that's the last time I saw him. He never did make it back to class.
By 10 a.m., when the school day began, Kyron was marked absent, but there was no call home to notify his parents, a policy that has since changed. Instead, the first call to 911 would wait nearly the entire day until Kyron's stepmother called the office to say he didn't come home on the school bus. The school secretary made the first call to police at 3:46 p.m. The school's
A question I've always had is why the school secretary called 911 and not Terry. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
Dean was there too. I guess it doesn't matter as long as 911 got called. I always found that suspicious. Okay, so he verified people saw him at the school that morning.
And his book bag and his jacket was in the classroom.
Now
She
that
was-
I don't know. That's been up in the air. Does anybody know? And if you have anything on it, was it in the book?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, hang on. Katie is local. She said the consensus here is that Terry is guilty. It all points to her. It all points to her. Without me jumping too much ahead, there is 90 minutes of this day that neither her or her crazy friend Dede can account for. What we can account for is that Kyron was seen at the school that morning, and Kyron, poof, disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Disappears. Okay, so things get put into motion. They start a search about a 2-mile radius around the school, and it's called Savi Island. They were really highly concentrated on that. Now, remember, we're just talking 90 minutes that Terry was unaccounted for. Terry could do something and hide him 2 miles around. Dede damn sure could help.
Yeah.
What's even more odd about this day is that her friend Dede, and I'm going to do a real in-depth about these two freaking weirdos, Terry and Dede. God, there's so much to talk about. I'm getting excited, actually. Okay, so Dede, who's kind of the single white female and was like a stage 5 clinger on Terry. She was basically the yes man. Anything Terry would ask her to do, Dede was all down for it. Kept all her dirty secrets. You know, she knew all the crazy shit that Terry had going on. Behind Kane, as she's, I guess, supposedly acting normal. During this day, Dede leaves her job. And she goes, mind you, this is the woman that pled the 5th when asked about the disappearance of Kyron Horman. She will not talk about it, had nothing to say. That day, the day, she leaves her job and goes and buys a burner phone for Terry. Not only did she do that, she used a fake name doing it. Why did Terry need a burner phone the day that her stepson disappeared? Why did her friend up and leave work? That's some kind of friend, let me tell you. Why did her friend up and leave work to go buy her a burner phone? She's already out running around Hell's Half Acre, making sure everyone saw her, right? We went to 2 grocery stores to get Tylenol. Bullshit on the recall. That was in January of 2010. We're seen at the gym. People that saw her at the gym said she was unusually friendly. Why was she being so nice that day when she was a bitch to everybody every other day? Because she wanted to make sure people saw her.
There you are.
So she gets single white female Dede to go and buy her a burner phone. And I believe that she told Dede not to use her name. Why would Dede not use her name to buy it? Now, this is according to Dede, who used another name. Now, she slipped in that in an interview. I don't think you even have to use a name to buy a burner phone. But that's what she said.
You have to turn it on. In order for them to turn it on, you have to give them a name. It doesn't have to be the right name. It could be Tom, Dick, or Harry.
Right. Okay, I missed something. Kitty said something. Hang on. Oh, she said Dede knows too. Savi Island is, I think she means expansive. She could have hid him there in the water, anywhere around that particular area. It's pretty dense. Fancy Clancy said Savi's Island has a lot of bush and brush. Someone could have easily temporarily hid a body if needed. And then Fancy said it's also by the Columbia River as well. Ugh. Okay, so we have Tanner who says Kyron never made it to class. Now, how his book bag got there, I have no idea. He never made it to class. He passed him at the science fair. He was his desk mate, basically. He sat next to him. He never made it to class. Terry says the last she saw him, he's walking down the hall towards class, yet nobody can verify seeing him in the hallway on the way to class. It sounds to me that at the science fair, she said, come with me, we're going to take off today.
Possibly.
One way or another, he was not at that school that day.
Was the science fair set up in the gym or the classrooms?
The gym.
Okay.
All right, so Desiree and Kane, bio parents, okay? Because Kane had custody of Kyron. Desiree lived 4 hours away. There's some people that think Desiree has something to do with her son's disappearance. She lived 4 hours away. She couldn't have, wouldn't want to. This woman is a bawling mess. You can't even mention Kyron to her without her breaking into pieces. Oh, these people.
Yeah.
These people. So anyway, at the police station that night, Kane takes a lie detector test. I will say this right now, guys. I do not put a lot into lie detector tests for many reasons. They are not admissible in court. Too many people are sitting on death row that passed them with flying colors. I'm just using this as an example.
And Russ Farina failed his, and he was innocent.
Yep. So lie detector tests, I very rarely even mention them. In this case, I'm mentioning it because I have to tell you what happened after. All right. So Desiree passes hers. Kane passes his. Terry does not pass hers. All right. Terry failed it. But she goes to Desiree. She hugs Desiree and says, I hope you know I loved your son.
Yeah.
I do not put a lot into lie detector tests, but I damn sure put a lot into people that are using children, adults, their dog in past tense when you don't know if they're what's going on. At this point, he could have just ran away from school. You don't know.
There's something fishy going on there. And I don't know that she caught that to begin with. If Desiree caught it.
I don't think she did until later, from what I understand.
Because I think her and Kane both were taken up for Terry.
We're going to get to that. I have a...
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Go ahead. You're fine. I'm glad
you brought hold my horses.
Like I said, we could be here till 1 a.m. There's so much, like, chat's blowing up right now. Preschool Granny said, didn't Terry get in trouble for hiring a guy to kill Kyron's dad? Yep.
We'll get to that.
Was she sexting another guy right after Kyron's disappearance?
We'll get to that.
Yep, she did it. Did she get gun charges later down the road? Yep. Domestic violence? Yep. You name it, old Terry's done it. She has got a bag of tricks as big as the Grand Canyon.
But everybody's lying.
Except Terry and those that defend Terry. It's the craziest thing. But when I heard It was on Nancy Grace, because it was this case was on Nancy Grace every night. And when she mentioned that, Nancy Grace, that Terry approaches Desiree, hugs her, and says, I hope you know I loved your son. No, Desiree didn't pick up on it at the time because she was devastated they couldn't find Kyron. Now, for several weeks after Kyron's disappearance, Kane and Desiree were still defending Terry, but they didn't know what the police knew.
This is true.
Katie, this is a very good reminder. Katie said, tried to hire someone, and Terry also tried to hire someone to off her partner years ago. Terry has got quite the
Checkered background.
history. Quite the history. She does. Yeah, she's crazy. Hang on one second. I'm moving stuff around. Somehow I lost Jordan, so Jordan's going to have to reconnect. Hello, Mermaid. Mermaid said, I still remember the day he went missing. It was my late parents' town. After reading the book, it's obvious what happened to poor Kyron. Yeah. Bonnie, I'm not getting alerted when you go live. A lot of people aren't. YouTube is screwing everything up. You're going to have to go in there, hit the bell, and hit remind all. All right, so this is the first interview with Kane and Desiree. They are defending Terry, and then we're going to unfold what comes next. So hang on.
Pay close attention to the body language of her.
Oh, when we get to Terry? Oh, yeah. If I'm echoing, let me know.
Desiree Young and Kane Horman. Good morning.
Good morning.
Desiree, 3 weeks now since your little boy went missing. What has this time been like for you?
I can't even put it into words. It's terrible. Every day that goes by, I just want Kyron home. It's been too long.
We see these beautiful pictures of him. Such a sweet face. Kane, tell us a little bit about your son. What kind of a little guy is he?
He's amazing. He's kind and warm and gentle. He's very loving. He's smart. He likes to have fun, good sense of humor, just loves to laugh.
All right, so this is 3 weeks after Kyron's disappearance. Mind you, this is in 2010, so he looks very different now, obviously. Both Desiree and Kane are using present tense. Past and present tense, to me, is a huge thing in these cases. Terry is the only one using words like loved and was.
Just a wonderful son.
And what happened, Kane, on that last morning that you saw your son?
From when I saw him that morning, I was on my way to work, and he and I talked out in our front yard. He was out feeding our cat, heading back inside, and just gave each other a big hug, told him to have a great day at the science fair with his project. I was proud of him for all the effort and just the amazing project that he put together, and to just have a wonderful day.
There have been some questions raised about your wife, Terry, and her involvement in your son's disappearance. A questionnaire was sent out by police mentioning her. Do you believe that the police suspect her in some way in your son's disappearance?
Okay, so they're very hesitant to answer this question. I pause it right here. Just a couple of weeks after Kyron disappeared, the police sent out a questionnaire. I don't know exactly to who, specifically asking about crazy ass Terry. Now, I'm sure when Kane heard this, especially when he heard more things we're going to discuss a little bit today and in future shows, I imagine they felt like they'd been hit with a bag of bricks. What do you think, Susan?
I'm sure they did. Nobody wants to think that somebody they loved could do such a thing.
Well, and that you trusted with your child.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris Melcher, that you trusted with your child. And as they started peeling the onion, they kind of realized that Terry's off her goddamn rocker.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
That's why I said we can't possibly get to it all today. But I really want to cover this case more and more and more. Hopefully get the public interest going again. Obviously, it's still buzzed about in Portland, but across the true crime community.
Yeah.
I believe she's committed, as the rest of our family is, to finding Kyron.
Yes.
And any other information regarding that is the investigators are working with her and with us to help find them. So I don't really have any other comment on that.
Desiree, there's been a lot of question about why you and your ex-husband haven't come forward more to speak out to the media. Why have you waited until now?
Because it was very important to the family, all of us, that we keep the focus on Kyron, and by staying a little bit more reserved in the media, that helped keep the focus on Kyron so that we could get his picture out there and get everything about him out there.
And coming forward now, what are you hoping this will bring for you?
I'm hoping that it'll bring us to the end, that Kyron will come home, and it's been 3 weeks now, and we never thought in a million years on Friday, June 4th, that we would ever get to this point.
Is there anything you'd like to say if Kyron is watching somewhere this morning? Both Desiree and Kane, I'll let you go first, Desiree, to your son.
That we love you and we need you home and we miss you very much.
Yeah, Kyron, you're the son that all dads hope for, and we miss you and love you so much, and we just want you home.
We wish you the very best, and we are all hoping for a good ending here. Desiree Young, Kane Horman, thank you for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
A lot happens early on The Early Show, weekday mornings on CBS.
Okay, so they're asked, why didn't you come forward earlier? I respect their answer. We wanted to keep this about Kyron.
Absolutely.
Just keep it about Kyron. But eventually they had to cave to the pressure because this was on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, headline news. Every night Nancy Grace talked about it. Nancy Grace was on Terry's ass like white on rice every single night before the police even got to talk about her.
Yes, ma'am, she was. Nobody does it like Nancy.
No, man, I miss the good old Nancy Grace days.
Yeah.
All right, so their first interview, we just watched it. This is back in 2010. They're like, no, we think she's as committed as we are to bringing Kyron home. We miss him, wonderful son, everything like that. Everything is in present tense. Don't forget, Terry, I'm not going to pick on the lie detector too much because those things fail. But she did say the night of, when it's nothing but raw emotion, exposed nerves, shock and awe is what's going on because Kyron's missing. He has not been at school all day long. They got media everywhere. They've got a search effort going on. They've got police buzzing around. They're getting lie detector tests. They're being questioned. They're being interrogated. You name it, the whole 9 yards. Shock and awe. I loved your son very much.
Yeah. Problematic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So as things kind of speed up a little bit, it seems that the police were looking at Terry. And one of the members of law enforcement gave a very telling interview. Again, if I echo, let me know. Okay, so this is in late July of 2010.
Now from Portland, Oregon is attorney Bruce McCain. He's a former captain in the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. He retired just last year. Good to have you with us this morning.
You're echoing.
Thanks for having me.
There are new reports out that Terry Horman told her stepson Kyron's teachers on the morning he disappeared that he had a doctor's appointment later that day. She claims she said she alerted them to the appointment, which was going to happen the following Friday. I know you look at that information and you say there's something that doesn't work here.
Well, yeah, it's actually quite significant because this was actually the last day of school. So a doctor's appointment the following Friday would have been pretty irrelevant to the school. But the critical thing about this June 4th doctor's appointment is that put the school in a position of not being concerned at all that Kyron was not in his class, wasn't at lunch, and wasn't on the bus that afternoon. So it looks like, at least this point, Terry was able to bring Kyron to school, establish his presence there, and then perhaps take him away. At least that's the theory they're working on, without the school picking up the phone and calling Kane at work, for example.
So, and we should point out again, she is not a suspect at this point. But as you're putting that together, you spent many years, obviously, with the sheriff's department. Does that tell you that there could be some sort of a premeditated plan here?
Well, obviously that looks like it very much would be a planned issue, especially with the deceptive answers she gave later about, gee, I think I meant June 11th, which would have been long after the school was already out. So the key right now is going back and focusing and reconstructing every hour and minute that she spent on that fateful June 4th to find out exactly where the holes are in her original story.
And part of that timeline is a 3-hour block of time where we're not really sure what was happening between the time she dropped Kyron off the last time she saw him at school and when she showed up at the gym. There's also a 90-minute window that a friend of hers, Dede Spicer, around that same time is being questioned about. What do you make of those gaps?
Okay, time gaps are a big, big deal, especially on a day when a child goes missing. You know, we talked yesterday about Michael Vaughn, and we're like, we don't see how in this small time frame his father could be involved. We talk about Summer Wells, and we're like, we don't see how in this huge time gap of 4 hours her mother couldn't be involved. Sorry, Susan, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was agreeing with you.
Elaborate, please, on agreeing with me.
You're so right.
Hey, it can happen every now and then. Gaelic Girl says Vasquez needs a security guard. Yeah. I wonder what kind of relationship Terry has with her new beau. You know?
Sleep with one eye open. That's all I can say.
Well, you know, the way you get them is the way you're going to lose them, right? I think somebody might want to give old Mr. Vasquez a heads up.
Well, again, those are very significant, especially given the close relationship between Dede and Terry. And once again, the investigators right now seem to be putting pressure on Terry's closest friends, associates, and family to basically tell them it's time to get on the right side of this issue. And Dede right now seems to be on Terry's side, and we'll see how long that lasts. But that critical 90 minutes for both of them is where they seem to be.
Okay, that's Dede. Mm-hmm. She's got the red hair like Terry. She basically wanted to be Terry's friend so bad. I don't think that she killed Kyron. I think she knows a lot more about what happened, to the point that she would stop what she's doing, leave her place of employment, and go get a burner phone for her.
Exactly.
What a weird thing. What would you think, Susan, if I was like, hey, Susan, I know you're super busy and you have a paycheck to draw. Can you go get me a burner phone?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm sorry, you're not working. You go get it.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. This. Did mom, dad have joint custody? Yes, they did. Jakey5, thank you for picking that out. Jakey said, he said critical 90 minutes. I believe, I mean, obviously I don't know what they said to the grand jury because this has been in front of a grand jury. It has. The grand jury never said that they could not indict, prosecute, whatever you want to call it, Terry. They wanted more information. Never said it's a no-go. So just remember that. Moonrain said, yes, Terry got on the King County jail phone telling a guy to get her other big phone out of her pickup truck. She's loving those burner phones. Loving those burner phones.
Yeah. People don't learn.
No. Mm-mm. But he says over and over in this interview the very close relationship that Terry and Dede had. Now, I'm just going to touch on this a little bit, and we're going to cover it in another show. For many obvious reasons, Kane divorced Terry. Where does Terry go? She lives with Dede. But it is relayed to everyone later that they weren't that close of friends. You'd have to be a pretty close friend and confidant to leave your place of employment and run and go get a burner phone from somebody. And then don't blow them in when you find out on the 5 o'clock news that their stepson's missing. Wouldn't that
Exactly.
be something you would say?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be on the phone so fast. Nope. You ain't dragging me into your mess.
No.
Focusing their efforts on the June 4th day.
And speaking of Dede, her home has been searched. Kyron's mother and father say she's hampering the investigation. The sheriff's department, though, did recently come out and...
Hang on. Did she say Dede's mother and father said she's hampering the investigation? I missed that.
Kyron's parents said she was hampering.
Oh, Kyron's parents. Big difference.
Go ahead and play it again, replay queen.
But that critical 90 minutes for both of them is where they seem to be focusing their efforts on the June 4th day.
And speaking of Dede, her home has been searched. Kyron's mother and father say she's hampering the investigation. The sheriff's department, though, did recently come out and answer some questions from journalists via email. They've been quiet for a little while. One of them that really stuck out was a question about whether or not they have any information to believe Kyron is alive. They didn't answer it directly.
Yeah, I think that actually is very significant, partly because of this email questions. Again, this has been a very, very strange and frustrating public relations piece from my former employer. But what we have is they took 3 days to carefully parse those answers. And you're absolutely right, Eric, is that the question was, do you have any information to believe he's alive? And they could not bring themselves to say yes. The best they could do is we continue to hope. And frankly, that puts the sheriff's office in the same position as thousands of Oregonians and others around the country that are looking for Kyron.
Based on your experience, the number of years you spent there with the department, what do you think may have happened?
Well, the bottom line is Kyron is either alive or dead, and that's the blunt truth right now. So right now, the key is to try to put pressure on Terry, and perhaps through an arrest on an unrelated criminal episode. This would be the murder for hire plot, and using that, they could potentially leverage the truth about Kyron out of him, out of both of the people that were involved in this. But right now, Kyron is simply missing, and nobody, including investigators, seem to know what happened to him.
Bruce McCain, I appreciate your insight. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Erica.
Every time I see that little boy, I see Gannon.
I know. And when everything went down with Gannon Staunch, I said, this is just like Kyron Horman. Okay, so when the investigator, which he's retired, when he mentions the emails in this interview, because it's in the summer of 2010, I don't know what batch of emails he's talking about. I don't know if he's talking about communication between Terry and Dede, because Terry was a real emailing bitch. She was emailing everybody. It came out not long after that she was emailing other people. I think one was a cousin. Don't hold me to that. That these emails she was sending, she was very vocal about her frustration with her marriage and had a lot of very deep-seated resentment against Kyron. It was almost like she blamed what was going on with Kane on Kyron. And no one has read those emails. I believe the grand jury's heard them, but it wasn't enough to give it an indictment. I don't know what was going on at the grand jury, but hey, something said to them, we just need a little bit more. So when a grown adult has a deep resentment against a child, whether it's a stepchild, their own child, any child, and they are with that child the day of their disappearance, we've got a big problem.
Yes, we do.
Yep. All right. So before I get to Dede, and like I said, we're touching just a little bit on everything. Unless you guys want to really tear it up and you've got, dinner in the crock pot, because this takes a long, long time. I might run out of breath. Jordan's backstage, and she's been following this case, but she recently came across it. And I love it when someone comes into a case and they've got fresh eyes on it, because they see stuff that we didn't even think about. Hi, Jordan.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi. Yes, I definitely think that Terry and Dede both obviously have something to do with this. Dede bought her the burner phone, but she could have also, like you said, helped her hide the body.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think there's something weird going on between them. Like, I don't care how close I am with a friend, even a family member. I would not go down with them. I would not do that for anybody.
Exactly. And especially if there's a child involved.
Right.
And that being said, it's been speculated about, and some people flat out say this is what was going on. Dede was a bit infatuated with Terry.
I kind of got that vibe.
Yeah, me too.
Because she obviously had a very deep commitment to this woman to leave her job and go get a burner phone. I want to know what Terry told her. I need it because I'm having an affair or whatever, something that Dede would have thought was cute and gone along with. But to not say a word when everybody in the state of Oregon knew, when the news hit that night, Kyron Horman was missing, to not say a word. How is that not suspicious?
It's suspicious.
Very suspicious. And also, I saw that Terry and Dede both didn't cooperate with law enforcement.
Well, Terry gave it the good old college try, but nothing she said added up.
Right.
She gave them a timeline to Fred Meyer's grocery stores, drove around to soothe the earache, but the earache, I guess, miraculously went away, and then went to the gym, was kind of overly friendly because she wasn't that friendly with these people before. One woman particularly, who she'd never really talked to before, has a child that goes to Skyline. She made sure to make contact with that woman, like a beeline to her. Isn't that kind of odd?
It is odd. And I want to know, are there no drugstores in that town? She went to 2 grocery stores looking for Tylenol. Why wouldn't you go to the drugstore?
The Fred Meyer's there, because we stayed in Portland for about a week. They're actually really nice stores. They have like their own pharmacy there and everything. But you have a good point. Maybe she wanted to be seen by more people and go somewhere where she knew there was cameras.
That's true.
I don't know. What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, I think that's very suspicious. I mean, she didn't give them... Okay, so Kyron's mom was like, I could tell you what I ate that day. I could tell you everything I did that day. She was with my son that day, the last person to pretty much, I don't know, kind of, see him or be with him or whatever. And she's like, she couldn't even give the law enforcement or anybody information on what she did that day, besides like, oh, I went to the gym and this and that. But in that time period, she was missing. You can't just be driving around for that long. I just don't think she did.
No, I don't think she did either. No, you got a perfect point. No, I don't think so either. No. And like you said, Desiree's like, I know what I ate that day. I mean, I know everything. Knows when she got the phone call. So then we go back to a couple of other cases. I'm going to compare cases really quick. Other mothers that one is a suspect, the other one is guilty as sin, that the day of their child's disappearance, they had unusual activity and unusual errands. They made sure to be seen. One is Letitia Staunch. She made sure to run all kinds of silly errands, like she was buying like dog clothes and stuff, and was driving around with Gannon in the car, in the truck. Of course, we know she took him back home and she murdered him that afternoon. But she had all kinds of, like I said, strange, silly errands that don't make sense. Okay, if she went and bought Tylenol and went straight home with a child with an ear infection, that would make sense. But to say there was a Tylenol recall, which was in January of 2010, nope. They wouldn't have it on the shelf, you idiot. The shelf
Why,
was empty.
why didn't she pick up the baby's prescription again?
Yeah, she said she also needed an antibiotic.
Why didn't she pick that up when she was out looking for the Tylenol?
I don't know.
Makes no sense.
Nope. So then she goes to another Fred Meyer. So she's seen on camera at 2 different Fred Meyer's grocery stores. So we drive around to soothe the earache. Wouldn't you take your child home, give him the Tylenol, put him to bed, and hope the Tylenol kicks in to give him some pain relief? No, we drive around and then we go to the gym to work out. See, so what I'm saying is errands that make no sense. Letitia Staunch, same thing. Day of Gannon's disappearance. We go to Candace Wells. We're running all over Hell's Half Acre. We're going to the hippie house. We're going to Priceless. We're going to all these different places. We're going to take a 20-minute dip in the pond. That's not even a swimming area.
Absolutely.
The day of the disappearance.
Yeah, she definitely made it a point to be seen and went to multiple of the Fred Meyer stores on purpose. Because if she said, I just went home, like, I guess, I don't know if she had, she probably didn't have cameras, like everybody has Ring cameras now, but she probably didn't back then. And also another thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, when she went to the gym, the baby that had the ear infection, she dropped off at the gym child care center. Why wouldn't you go home, like you said, and take care of your kid and give them the Tylenol and put them to bed, not take them to the gym if they have an ear infection?
Exactly. I agree. I really agree.
Like Beck B said, because all of these women we're talking about were creating a smoke screen.
Yes.
The only one that is suspicious that day that didn't have a smoke screen is goofy ass Dede, who leaves work to go buy a burner phone. It's not, hey, my friend called me and she can't find her son. I've got to go help her. I've got an emergency at home. She went to buy a damn burner phone.
Yeah, I want to know what she told her boss, like why she had to leave.
Does anybody know the excuse that Dede gave her employer when she left on June 4th, 2010?
I don't.
I don't either. I would be very interested to know. Because we've all called in sick with a, glaucoma of the ass. I don't see my ass going to work today. But to be in the middle of work and have to run out to buy a burner phone, I'm just kind of wondering what we told the boss man.
Yeah, me too. Because, like, how do you explain that? What do you make up to?
Katie said they didn't know why. So she didn't even give an excuse. She bolted. That's even more telling. You don't even check in with your employer. You disappear for an hour and a half, 2 hours. You meet Dum Dum, and I'd still like to know how she got the burner phone to her.
They had to meet.
She had to tell her where to meet her, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also, do you know how you said that Terry resented Kyron?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently Terry had a son from a previous relationship. I don't know. I think it was a marriage. And he was living with Kane and Terry and Kyron and the baby. And Kane said, look, your son has to go. I don't know the reason. I don't know what was going on. And so that's what I found out, is that kind of made her really, really mad and hated Kyron even more, I'm sure.
That is a very common theory with a lot of people, and you're right. She does have a son. So there was three children living in the home at the time. Her son, who's older, his name is James. He's a grown man now. Seems like a great guy. He obviously doesn't want to be any part of this.
I wouldn't.
Kyron, who is missing, and then the youngest daughter, Kiara. Now, when Kane and Terry divorced, Kane got custody of Kiara, and Terry tried to kidnap her own daughter. She does not pay child support. Now, there was a group that her son is in, and he said, I think she does pay child support. He said, I know, I told her to.
That was a man people would be going off.
Oh, yeah.
And also, it's like they trusted Terry with their son that was supposed to be your wife at the time. I just think that's crazy. And didn't he know that Kane knew Terry from having an affair with Desiree? Or is that her name, the Kyron's mom?
Supposedly, when Kane and Desiree were separating, going through their divorce, is when him and Terry got together. I don't know. Seems a little convenient to me, but it has really nothing to do with Kyron's disappearance. Just kind of like I said earlier, how you find them is how you're going to lose them, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
So before I get to the next clip, and I really hope that this gets refiled, Desiree, in 2012, she filed a civil lawsuit against Terry.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So she said she claimed that she's responsible for Kyron's disappearance. Had they gone through discovery and Terry would have been forced to answer questions, because remember, it's civil, I think a lot would have come out. Terry tried to delay the lawsuit. It was denied by a judge. Desiree dropped it. I'm not 100% sure why. It had something to do with law enforcement. I think she was advised by them to drop it. But this is what really came out that definitely raised an eyebrow. When Dede was on the stand, she refused to answer 142 questions.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, that's what I...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
That's what I meant when I was saying they did not cooperate at all. Or at least Dede didn't.
Oh, no. Here's a sample of some of the questions Dede would not answer. She refused to identify a picture of Kyron Horman.
What?
Yep.
That's crazy.
If she answers one, she has to answer all of them?
Oh, no, you can pick and choose.
No, okay.
You can answer one and not the other. She wouldn't even identify Kyron's picture. She wouldn't confirm yes or no if she had ever met Kyron's father, Kane.
Oh.
She wouldn't answer any questions regarding her whereabouts on June 4th, except she did confirm she was at work.
Red flags, very fishy.
And she would not answer any questions on how she made contact with Terry that day. I still wonder, and maybe someone in here can tell me, because there's a lot to go through. How did law enforcement know Dede left work and Dede bought the burner phone? I've always wondered, did she have a credit card of Terry's? I mean, Dede wouldn't just have the extra money laying around to go buy a burner phone that day.
Do you think they can pull up like credit card records or?
Oh, yeah, they do that. They go through all bank records. I've just always wondered how they put that together. And of course, it drops my jaw that we have a missing little boy and Dede refuses to answer questions about the day he went missing.
It's like she refuses to acknowledge him because she's guilty.
Plead the Fifth said that could also be a weird loyalty thing. Yeah, like I said, single white female, little infatuated, Maybe thinking when she gets done sowing her oats with all these other men, you two are going to be together. I don't know, Dede, but you're a weirdo.
Maybe he swung both ways.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to get to, this is more about Dede, and we're really going to go into Terry on the next show. So hold your horses. Hello, Michelle K. Welcome. She said, this case is fascinating and heartbreaking. Oh, it is. I'm surprised it hasn't been made into a miniseries. It's just that many twists and turns. It's crazy. If I have an echo, let me know. This is about Dede. She did share emails between the two of them with the police.
But we do know investigators will provide an update on the Kyron Horman case and respond to written questions previously submitted by the media. Meanwhile, an attorney representing one of Terry Horman's friends is...
Why is Dede's fat ass looking at the camera smiling?
I don't know.
Yeah. Meanwhile, an attorney representing one of Terry Horman...
What is that smile?
She's side-eyeing.
Smirking. She's making sure Terry sees her. Terry, look, I'm not telling them anything.
Horman's friends is defending his client. He claims Dede Spicer is cooperating and she has nothing to do with Kyron's disappearance. Prosecutors subpoenaed the Tualatin woman to appear before a grand jury yesterday. Her lawyer says Spicer appeared before the secret panel but did not testify. She's expected to be called back before the grand jury sometime in the future. Spicer is a close friend of the missing boy's stepmother. Terry Horman was the last one to see Kyron Horman on June 4th. Previously, Kyron's family issued a statement saying Spicer is not cooperating with investigators. Police and the FBI searched her condo. Spicer's attorney claims she is being treated unfairly. But when asked about her friend, the lawyer predicts time is running out for Terry Horman.
I would be frankly surprised if Terry Horman did not eventually face charges in this case. I would just be very surprised if an indictment didn't come down.
I always thought it was very odd that Dede's attorney, that's who we just saw on the screen. Hang on.
I would be frankly surprised if Terry Horman did not eventually face charges.
Okay, so this is Dede's attorney. Dede and Terry are extremely tight. I think more so in Dede's mind than Terry's, okay? So for her attorney to say, Dede's, I wouldn't be surprised if an indictment doesn't come down soon for Terry. Well, I mean, knock on wood, it hasn't yet, but I think it will happen eventually. You know, there's such a thing as attorney-client privilege. I wonder what Dede told him.
That would be interesting.
I mean, what an odd thing for an attorney to say that's working for the other side. Really, he is. He's working for a suspect.
Yeah, he must have gotten a lot of information, and I'm surprised he said that.
Yeah, because that points to Dede's guilt.
He seems to be confident nothing will happen with Dede. I mean, I guess if Dede wasn't around when Terry was doing what Terry did, and mind you, I've always had the theory that she went to Fred Meyer's and got the Tylenol, not because of a soothing earache, but to make the little girl go to sleep so she couldn't tell what Terry did.
How old was she?
I think 2. Does anybody know how old Kiara was at the time? I mean, it's not that a 2-year-old could really tell anything in detail, but, you know, gotta cross your T's and dot your I's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Frankly surprised if Terry Horman did not eventually face charges in this case. I would just be very surprised if an indictment didn't come down.
Newly filed court papers suggest Terry Horman has paid $350,000 for legal representation in this case. Her estranged husband wants to know where she got the money. Terry Horman has not been charged with the crime. Back to you.
Ooh,
I've always
interesting.
wondered about that as well.
That is interesting.
People say Terry's parents paid for this. I don't know, because let's face it, she's hawking up 350 G's, okay? Or K's, how do you say it? I can't speak, I'm not really good at that. $350,000 to defend herself. And this wasn't even a criminal trial. This was civil.
Wow.
Ooh, hang on. I got a jar of dirt said Tylenol for Kyron. Because, when we get children's Tylenol, it's got a little extra kick in it to make the kids go to sleep.
Right. That's a good theory.
Okay, Katie said Kiara was 18 months. If you look at the arrest affidavit for Letitia Staunch, she had everything very planned out for Gannon. And these cases are so parallel and so similar, it scares the hell out of me. It's almost like Letitia became friends with Terry on Facebook and said, hey, how'd you do it?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see, I'm looking at my paper here.
Also, she made sure to tell the school about the doctor appointment.
Yes.
She had that planned. This was very thought out.
And the investigator picked up on that, and he mentioned it. He said, first of all, this is the last day of school, so why would it matter? Because
Right.
Terry said she was confused and she said the wrong day. Well, who cares if he had a doctor's appointment during the summer? Why would the teacher need to know?
Exactly.
We heard very early in the show, the first clip I played, Tanner, the little boy that he was in class with, not that day, but sat next to him, that said, no, he wasn't in class. Yet Terry says she saw him going down the hall towards his class. There's tons of kids in the hallway. There's teachers. There's people buzzing around. She's the only one that can say that she saw him walking down the hallway.
And nobody else can. So she's obviously lying.
Obviously.
Aggie said, Brooks, Kyron had allergies. He took Benadryl. Benadryl's a good one to make kids go to sleep.
Yeah, that works.
She
That
says
works on me.
Yeah, it works on me too. Paranormal Witch said, I don't think she went to the school at all. I had my doubts about it too. Kyron was seen at the school that morning, and so was Terry. Terry was seen at the school that morning. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, it seems to me that they have everything pointing at Terry. It is frustrating that she hasn't been arrested or even charged. I'm just wondering what piece of the puzzle they're waiting on. Kyron, obviously, finding Kyron would be wonderful.
Right, a piece of physical evidence. I definitely think that Terry, the stepmom, did it. You brought up a great point earlier, that she was using past tense, like, oh, I loved your son. There's a bunch of red flags. She was the last one to pretty much be seen with Kyron. She's the one who took him to the school fair, and nobody saw him after that. He just disappeared. Kids don't disappear in thin air, and I don't think he would have left the school with a stranger. I'm sorry, I don't. Like, I just really don't. He probably left with her, trusting her because that was his stepmom. And Dede has something to do with it, whether it just be buying a phone, helping her hide the body. Like, she knows. She has to know.
Know something for sure.
I think she told him on the way to school, we're going to drop off your science fair project and you're going to leave with me. That's why there was no confusion or anything. There was no Kyron wandering around or anything. I think that he walked out with her and just nobody thought anything of it because he's with his stepmother.
Right. Somebody you're supposed to trust. His parents, his step. I definitely think we're right about that. I just don't know what she did with him. I I know that the area, the island, I forgot what it was called, was right near the school, and it was very dense and wooded area, so it would have been easy for her to get access, hide a body, do anything.
Well, and like Fancy Clancy said, it also goes into the Columbia River. We don't know what this woman did, but it's awful because this is 2022. He disappeared in 2010.
Yeah, and there's no skeletal remains, anything.
No.
Not a trace, not a shirt.
I think she is so crazy. She was so resentful of him. I have a feeling, I think part of it was, her son being removed from the house.
Mhm.
I'll get you. You got rid of my son, I'll get rid of yours. Kane later said that, there was some stuff going on at home, that she had gone back to drinking heavily.
Yes, I forgot he mentioned that, and I know that they were having a lot of issues, and that I know that she put a hit out for the Kyron's dad, and she's done that to her ex, and he came forward. But that was after Kyron went missing. But another thing is, in one of the press conferences, you can see the emotions and facial expressions of Kyron's parents, and then there's the stepmom, Terry, and you could just tell she's faking.
She's like trying to give everybody kind of a half hug, and she makes sure to put her head on Kane's shoulder, like, console me. She's, really wanting the spotlight on her. The whole putting her head on Kane's shoulder. Nancy Grace had a field day with that.
When she was hugging the mother, she was looking up for her reaction, and that really bothered me.
It was convincing time. This was the performance of a lifetime. She'd done dirty shit for years and years and years, but this was the performance of a lifetime. What she messed up on is hugging Desiree and saying, I hope you know I loved your son. So right there at the police station, like I said, everyone is going crazy. Can't find Kyron. But she makes sure to let her know, I loved your son.
Yeah.
Loved. Not, we're going to find him, Desiree. I swear, I can't believe this happened. We're going to find him. I'm going to look everywhere. I loved your son.
Mm-hmm.
Also, didn't Terry, not that long after Kyron went missing, just try to go back to her regular life, go back to the gym, post on social media and stuff?
She'll tell you that police told her to do that. I don't think so.
She said the police told her to do that. She blamed the police for a lot of her activities.
They told her to lie.
Yeah, they told her to lie. She said the police told her to lie. In these cases, normally the police tell those involved close to the victim, don't speak to the media. Even little Tanner that was on here, his grandma did an interview and she said, well, the police told us not to speak to the media, but we thought we might as well go ahead. Okay, whatever. But they tell them, don't speak to anybody. They didn't say, hey, do me a favor and lie to them. No, they just said, don't speak to anybody.
Right. Yeah, this whole thing obviously points towards her, and I just can't believe that there's not enough to put her away, that she's still living free.
Yeah.
I can't believe there's people after all this time. They could have picked up in the middle of the case, honestly. And that happens. They could have saw the Dr. Phil interview. Don't worry, we are going to get to that another day, just clips of it, and been like, oh, I believe her. Or when, she was on Good Morning America, or when she gave her interview to People magazine. So when you catch a case in the middle, you can get easily distracted because you don't know what happened in the beginning. But still, people from the beginning that have followed since 2010 shocks the hell out of me that they still think that she's like the victim of some kind of witch hunt.
Oh my goodness. Do they really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, we got to talk.
Yeah, there's no way she's innocent and she's the victim. How is she the victim when all the fingers and red flags are pointing towards her that she's done something?
Or not telling something. I mean,
Right.
like I said, look at her crazy friend Dede. Dede refused to answer 142 questions. She would not even identify a photo of Kyron. Now
Yeah.
that, I'll tell you what, that's a friend, huh?
Yeah, I wonder did when did Terry live with Dede?
This was after her and Kane split the sheets and the media was after her all the time. So I
Yeah.
would say it was in 2010.
Well, I wonder if it was before or after she got asked all those questions. Because maybe she was like, I'll do this for you, Dede. I know you're in love with me. And if you just help me out here or whatever. Like, she gave.
Oh, no, it was way before because she lived with her for a little while in 2010 when everything was really hot and heavy going on. In 2012 is when Desiree filed the civil lawsuit.
Oh, okay.
It was a couple of years later.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure the civil lawsuit, like you said, was dropped because law enforcement said it was gonna like do something to the case, like interfere somehow.
Yeah, I've got to find something on that. I don't want to misspeak.
Right.
They did say they didn't want it to interfere with an ongoing police investigation. And
Yes.
also Kane had come out in 2012 around this time and said that law enforcement had said they said they had more probable cause to think Terry Horman was involved than they did 2 years ago. So it kind of all happened at once. So they might have told Desiree, put the brakes on it. We're really close. And the civil lawsuit might mess us up.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. I just hope there's justice for Kyron and that they put her in jail. They find something, enough evidence. I just don't see how there wasn't enough.
I'm just wondering about Dede. Well, is it Dede, the girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. I wonder if they're still friends. And why wouldn't she come forward after all these years? Unless she was involved.
I've always wondered that about Dede too, why she basically, went on to live a life of anonymity and has never spoke out since she refused to answer 142 questions during the civil lawsuit.
I'd like to know more about her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
And as far as I know, not that everybody tells me everything, they've had no contact, which, I mean, hell, they all know how to get burner phones, so that kind of surprises me. But that would be a really stupid thing for Terry and Dede to do. Terry has gone on with her life. She lives in California. Dede still lives in Oregon, but not in Portland.
Yeah, I don't, it's so wrong that they're both able to just live their lives like nothing happened.
Yeah. And they're going to continue to. I just think, I don't know this for sure. I think Dede cut some kind of deal, but it wasn't enough of a deal because Terry's not in jail. I think it will happen. I think they will charge her. They know where she's at. Hell, there's a whole Facebook group. It's like a community group for the town that Terry lives in. And I'm telling you what, any sighting of Terry, they put it on there. I saw her today I saw her here. I mean, they dox the shit out of her left and right. It's a wonder people there haven't gotten in trouble for bothering her. It doesn't bother me. It's just if it slows down the investigation, it does.
Right.
Well, guys, this has been a great chat as always. I'm going to start winding it down. And if you guys have any ideas for the Kyron Horman case, what you want to discuss in the case next, let me know. I'm all ears. I've got 4 or 5 shows written down because I really want to get this case going again.
Yeah, get it back out there. Maybe somebody saw something and don't even realize they saw something.
Yeah, especially all the activity at the school. Jar someone, especially the children that were there. Remember,
Yeah, they're adults now.
Yeah, they're either 20 years old now, 21, 22, 23. I mean, they weren't all in his class. We all have repressed childhood memories. I've just really had a lot of hope the last few years that one of the kids at the school would remember something from that day.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, seeing Kyron leave with Terry. But what I think is crazy is that there was no surveillance at that school at that time in 2010.
A lot of things have changed in 12 years. I mean, even like the way social media is. People aren't as shy as they used to be, you know.
Right.
But yeah, and I mean, and the school is different now. They have a different system if a child isn't in class and things like that. Because remember, we're talking about 12 years ago. Doesn't seem like that long to me. But I mean, in the scheme of how things go in the world, I mean, it's been a long time.
Right.
Especially for a missing child's case.
Probably seems like forever for his mom and dad.
Oh man, could you imagine? And they're doing a lot. I mean, you know, Desiree, I mean, definitely, you know, she pounds the pavement advocating for her son. They have the Horman Foundation. Back in the spring, I know Michael Vaughn's parents were at a event for missing children that was put on by Kane Horman. So, I mean, they have not given up. They have not.
Yeah, they seem like really good parents. They're definitely, if anybody says they're guilty, they're crazy, because I know.
Oh, yeah, I think so too. But, you know, you're always going to get crazy anywhere you go, whether it's the true crime community or hell. I mean, just people swapping recipes. There's a crazy in every bunch.
Right.
Well, Jordan, it was a big treat having you up here. Thank you for your insight. I know you just started following the case.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was a very good show.
Thank you for making it a good show. We will see you over in Discord.
All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye, Jordan.
Let's give Jordan a round of applause. And Susan, as always, love talking to you about cases because you know them like the back of your hand. You're like a walking encyclopedia.
But everybody can learn something new every day.
Every day, every day. So I will see you over in Discord. Let's have a big round of applause for our friend Susan. I can't believe you didn't get all heated up today. Sometimes you get really mad about these cases or you'll go, I don't want to say anything. I'm going to cuss.
And sometimes I will.
Well, you had a lot of retail therapy this afternoon, so you got to blow off some steam.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. All right, girlfriend, I'll see you over in Discord in a minute.
All right. Bye, guys.
So we had a lot of new names in here, guys. Make sure you hit the sub button, hit the bell, and hit remind all because we're going to start covering Kyron Horman a lot more. We're going to get into more specifics. I really wanted, like I said, to kind of dust it off and talk about the beginning, get everybody's feels on this, and then we're going to start going through it slowly but surely. Maybe by the end of 2025, we'll get through the whole thing because it's insanity, total insanity. We're also going to do a case comparison between Kyron Horman's disappearance and Gannon Staunch's murder. It's going to be nuts when you look at the parallels and similarities. But Mod Squad, thank you as always. You guys are warriors. And everybody else in here, again, as always, you are the best chat on YouTube and the best community. So I'll see you over in Discord. If I miss you over there, I'll see you in the Facebook group. If I don't catch you there, I'll see you here at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.